Hey everybody, how are we?
Good morning.
Hey guys, I thought we'd do a second follow-up video on our budget discussion. We put one up after a 6 months period on the road, and got a lot of views, which was fantastic. Thank you so much. I hope you all got something out of that. But in doing that, we got some commentary back, which we appreciate all the feedback that we got, but there was a couple of comments in there around being realistic on the costs that we put forward, and then some other comments around are these truly costs? Because when you're at home, not traveling, you've got costs to live as well. You have food, you have fuel, you have repairs and maintenance, and all those sort of general life costs. And we thought, you know what, we've been keeping track of our costs for a very long time. I used to be a cost controller in my professional life, so it's always been something I've done. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go and have a look, and I'm going to compare. Our very first year of retirement versus this travelling year of retirement, and we've got some really good data that we can lean on. So I thought, what the heck, let's have a crack at it.
Let's do a comparison and show you the true variance between on the road and living at home, and it's probably not as frightening as some of you might think.
That's exactly right, yeah, and I think you will be very surprised when we get to the end. So look, just to quickly again rewind the clock a little bit, since we last saw you on that other video, the other budget video that we did, by all means go and have a look at that if you haven't seen it. It'll certainly put what we're about to talk into context.
Yep.
But since then, where have we travelled from?
We've gone from Cairns, and we are now in central Kimberley, so not far out of Broome.
Yeah, so we've gone across the Savannah Way to Normanton, Currumba, down to Cloncurry, Mount Isa, Camberwell,
up to Darwin, over to Kakadu, back through Katherine, and across.
And now we're sitting in Wallair at the Roadhouse, and it's 40 degrees, so we thought, well, what better thing to do 40 degrees than sit in the air conditioning and make another budget video. It's too hot to do anything else. So here we go, guys. So let's crack straight into it. We'll take a similar format as to last time. We'll just talk about the highest costs down to the lowest costs, but while we're doing that, we'll compare while we're traveling, while we're at home. All right, so number one cost, drum roll.
Fuel.
All right, so fuel, we have spent $1,360 on average per month on fuel. Now, depending on where you go, as in what part of the country, it's going to depend on how much traveling you do and how much towing of the van, etc., etc. $1,360 is our 7.5 month average cost.
Yeah,
now,
and that's operating one vehicle.
Yes.
Okay, some of it includes towing, some of it doesn't include towing, but it's one vehicle.
So how much are we spending when we're at home?
We're only spending roughly $580 a month, and that's for two vehicles.
Yep.
So, you know, yes, I'm lucky, I've got a hybrid, so it doesn't use as much fuel.
Yeah.
But we're still using two cars when we're at home. Pete goes one way, I go another. This way we're using one together.
Yes.
So that's our biggest variance.
Yeah, so $780 additional cost beyond staying at home to be on the road for fuel.
Yeah, and that's per month, keep in mind.
That's right. Okay, number two, food. The basics of food, so just your everyday living stuff. Now that's groceries, so that does include your washing detergents, your deodorants, the rubbish bags, that sort of stuff as well. Not just food, but all those grocery items that you buy from Woolies and Coles.
Yeah.
On the road, we're spending $800 a month on average. How much are we spending at home?
$750 at home. Yeah. Now there's only two of us at home as well, okay? So we don't have a family with kids, it's just the two of us.
Yep.
And you might think, well, you know, you're going to be doing the same thing, but when you're on the road, you tend to have afternoon nibblings. You have a drink, you have, you know, cheeses and dips and things like that. You don't get the, I guess, privilege of being able to buy things in bulk because you don't have the space. So instead of buying a large tub of, you know, Vegemite, you buy a small one.
That's right.
So you're buying them at a premium. You don't buy deodorant and things like that when they're on special. You buy them because you need them, and you don't have the space to store 3 or 4 cans.
Yeah.
So, you know, those little things add up, which is where that, you know, $50 variance per month can come in.
Plus, I think we can all agree that, well, shopping has just got more and more expensive.
Yeah.
So a lot of that could be just CPI as well.
Yeah.
All right. Number 3, for us, is repairs and maintenance. We are averaging $715 a month. So that's slowly coming down because we had some bigger costs early in the piece that are now diluting over time. But when we're at home, our repairs and maintenance costs, you know, for maintaining the vehicle, just general house stuff, you know, calling out a plumber or electrician or doing all this sort of stuff, $825 a month anyway. So you're repairing stuff on the road, you're repairing some stuff at home. It's, you know, horses for courses.
Yeah, and we're still certainly going to have things at home that need repairing, you know.
Yeah.
So
that's it. So, you know, it's there's not a great deal of difference here. $110 actually to staying at home, because our life is a lot simpler on the road. All right. Next one, obviously a fairly big difference on this one.
Yeah, your camping fees.
yeah. So $715 versus
just $260.
Yeah. So our very first year of retirement, we only did about 4 to 6 weeks of travelling.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just hanging around home, just getting used to a new lifestyle and a new town and all the rest of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We went to Coral Bay with some friends and we had a fantastic time. So it was all condensed into a very small amount of time.
Yeah, that's right.
But on an average across the whole year, $260. So that's a $455 a month difference there. So obviously one of the biggest, aside from fuel, probably one of the biggest costs that you'll suffer on the road.
Yeah.
All right, see next one.
So our activities. So, you know, when we're going and doing things, we're exploring things, we're doing a tour here or a tour there and stuff like that. So when we're on the road, we've got a cost of $540, as opposed to at home.
At home, we are doing $680. So we're in our comfort zone at home, and you spend money without realising. It's so easy to tap and go everywhere. Those quick 10s, 15, 20s, 30s. You know, tap, tap, tap. You go for a drive. For us, we live in a small little town, so when we go to a larger town, which is about an hour away, and we tap, 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 and get out of there. We think we're doing ourselves a favour, but man, it racks up so fast.
Sure does.
Lots of little pieces. And when you go places, you think, oh, I might as well do something while I'm here. It racks up.
Yeah, whereas when you're on the road, you have the chance to think about things, take a little bit slower and go, do we really want to do that, or what's our preference, what's our priority? Whereas at home, I'm not saying you give in to peer pressure, but your friends invite you and it's not something that you do all the time. So you go, yeah, no worries, let's go.
Yeah.
So you do that activity with your friends at home, whereas when you're on the road, it's just the two of you and you've got time to think about a cheaper option to do it, I guess.
Yeah, and we're always weighing up, you know, oh, we're going to be in Kakadu and there's some really cool stuff there, so maybe we won't do that extra thing in Cairns or Airlie, and we'll save it and do it here. And so we're always thinking about that, whereas when you're at home, you kind of just do stuff and then it all sort of racks up. Lots of small little cuts adds up to a big scar eventually.
At the end,
so,
for sure.
All right, so that's our general. Now, the next cost that we've got, that was activities. General, sorry, I'm losing my own track here. General, I think we put into the same sort of boat, so we probably don't need to discuss that anywhere near as much, but it's like activities.
Yeah.
So on the road, it's $480, at home, $580, and I think it's all the same reasons as what we just said.
Yeah, you know, it's a birthday here, tap. It's a, you know, let's go out here, tap.
Yeah,
so.
It's birthday drinks. Let's go to the pub real quick before you know it, we've racked up some costs. And, off it goes. All right, our next one, I've written it down here as Victorian High Country, but it really is, for us, that was a one-off special activity for the year, a real dream activity. So it might be your 50th birthday, it might be buying yourself a special present, a nice car or a motorbike or a toy or a thermo mix or something along those lines, whatever. My sister just bought a thermo, that's why I said that. So it's those one-off items. Now, like I said, for us, it was going to the Victorian High Country this year. It was my 50th, it was my daughter's 21st. It was something I was very passionate about getting done, and we brought the whole family together. And that cost us $3,450 as a one-off. Now, we didn't do anything like that the previous year. So that is a function of this holiday that we're on at the moment, and I've just left it as that. And that's averaging, if I average that out across the whole lot, that's $470 a month. All right, and versus nothing,
Yeah.
at home. All right. Next one is capital improvements. So I spoke in the very first video about I had to get new batteries for the van, and so I got some better batteries. I also got a 2000 watt inverter, and I upgraded the solar blanket as well because our other one died. So
Yep.
these are on the road capital items that we've chosen to do. We could have done it cheaper and simpler, but we chose to take the opportunity
To do it properly.
to do it properly and do it once, and
Yeah.
hopefully we'll gain the savings down the track. But when we're at home, so that was $450 a month. When I was at home, I spent $660 a month, and that was on just things that I wanted to get done. You know, I think admittedly it was my first year of retirement, and I had a few items that I wanted to check off. But I upgraded the suspension on the vehicle, otherwise I would not have been able to do this trip.
Yeah.
We would have been overloaded the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We did some repairs to the house.
Yeah,
You know.
that's right.
So
Yeah. It's. I guess what we're saying here is, even when you're at home, you're gonna be spending money because
Yeah.
if you got a bit of time up your sleeve or you've got that project in mind, you're gonna get it done. We just do it in a slightly different manner when we're on the road because it is so centric to the car or the van.
that's right.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, next one.
So
Sim.
you still have meals out when you're on the road, whether you're at home or on the road. So you know our meals out while we're on the road's been $360, as opposed to $275 at home. So you know there's only an $85 difference.
Yeah.
But again, you know you might be at home and invite your friends over for dinner as opposed to going out for dinner.
That's it, and that obviously pops back into that basics of food as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, we don't have a massive big go out sort of lifestyle at home
No, we
or in
don't.
the van. It's just not what we're about. We prefer to cook for ourselves and,
Yeah.
and entertain at home, and we do that around the van with friends as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. All right, I'm going to talk about the next one, Sam. I think this one's really in my all
Category.
alcohol. All right. On the road, I've averaged $360 per month on alcohol, and that is largely me. When I'm at home, it's $315, so it's only about $45 a month more. Now I need to put the caveat in. Every day is Sunday when you're traveling. Everyone wants to have a drink. Everyone's
Sure.
stopping. Let's have a beer. Before you know it, it's 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. But those figures of 360 for on the road, realistically, should be about double that. It should be up around that $700 mark because I haven't drunk for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
So firstly, I'm very impressed with myself for having achieved that, but it has saved our budget something fierce. It truly has. So that can be a huge catch for everyone that's on the road. It's always Sunday. It's always
For sure.
happy hour. So
Yeah. Yeah.
be mindful of that. But again, only about a $50 difference, roughly,
Yeah.
for being at home.
Yeah. You know, clothing, you still need clothing on the road. You might get sick of the same shirt or get a hole in it or whatever it might be. So, you know, we've got a difference of $60 between on the road and at home.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing for us was we didn't have any cold weather clothes, like we said in the first video.
Yeah.
We had to upgrade and upgrade fast. Other than that, it's the odd t-shirt here or a pair of, some more jocks or whatever the
Yeah.
heck it might be. It's just small stuff.
Yeah.
No one cares what you really look like, I don't think, on the road. We wear this. Took Cindy a little while to get used to wearing the same thing over and over and over and over again, but who cares? All right.
Then you got your sporting commitments or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. We've called it bowls because that's what we've done on the road. It was easier to get that instead of golf clubs. But that's been a big variance,
Yeah.
relatively. You know, for us on the road, bowls was $80, whereas at home it's $250 a month.
Yeah.
You know, yes, you've got your bowls memberships and club memberships and things like that, whereas when you go and we've either had a roll or competed in a quick comp, so they're only $10 here or $10 there. They're nothing major in outlay, but you know, it's an expense that we do on the road and at home.
Yes.
So, you know.
Yeah, look, and again, I think everyone's going to have these same sort of things. You're going to go for that game of golf of a weekend,
Yeah.
or tennis or netball or whatever. It all costs money.
That's it.
On the road, you don't tend to have that, and you put that into other activities.
That's right.
So, all right. Look, the next few we'll rip through them pretty quick. But bakeries and coffee, we spent $65 $60. So roughly about $125 on bakeries and coffee per month on the road,
Yeah.
as opposed to about $60 at home.
Yeah.
That's about half the amount.
Yeah.
And
But you're on the road, so instead of making a coffee and sitting down and enjoying it, you grab it to take on the go.
yeah, and to be quite honest, coffees hasn't been a really
Big
big
one.
standout for us. It's the amount of snot blocks that Cindy has eaten. Man, she has, I think, what
22 we're about to do.
22 bakeries we've tried so far on the trip.
And that's
so
just vanilla slices. Sorry,
Yeah.
I have had other things in between when I was getting a bit
snotted out.
bored of vanilla slices. But yes, we're up to bakery number 22.
Yeah. But again, you're on holidays. Who cares? You got to have a little bit of fun. All right, gas refills. This
that
one was
an-
really interesting.
It was, because, where we are, we don't have the luxury of gas being plumbed into our house. We have to get gas bottles.
Yeah.
So with the van, you have to get gas bottles. And the surprising thing about this is, on average, they're both $35 a month.
Yeah.
So, there's not really a win or loss in this one in this case.
No, it's really interesting. I mean, we're probably in that 50-50 category, I think, for on-grid, on power, off-grid. And we use gas for our fridge and for our cooking and for our hot water. Although we have dialed back on the cooking side because we've gone induction now, which certainly helps a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, $35 a month. That's tenable. I
Yeah.
think everyone can work to that.
Yeah.
And then firewood and diesel
Diesel
heaters. Yeah, they are what they are. It's been $14 for firewood because I've been lazy, and the diesel heater on average has cost $7 a month, and I think it's a total of $54 on diesel for the entire trip.
Yeah.
And I explained a bit more about that, so I won't go into detail now, but I went certainly into a fair bit of detail in the
our
first
budget.
video. So check that out.
So really, when you do a comparison to on-road living as opposed to living at home, you are on the road for the experience, what's out there. You're going to take a holiday anyway. This is just a long experienced holiday that, we're seeing so much and getting so much out of. So on a whole, our variance is $1,300,
Yeah,
which really,
is is the true cost of this holiday.
yeah,
$1,300 a month. And it's actually $1,301 a month. So we're not just making a number up there, guys. At the moment, we are averaging around about $6,671 in costs per month to be on the road. And we live a very simple life on the road. We
Yeah.
are not expensive. And when we're at home, it's $5,370 for those same cost categories.
yeah.
So there's the difference, $1,301.
But a disclaimer that we're putting in is that we haven't taken into consideration in this one insurances, whether you're paying off a mortgage or whether you're renting, because everybody is different. Some people have one car, we have two, so we have 2 cars to register, 2 cars to insure. Your type of car you have you paid off your mortgage? Are you paying a mortgage?
Yeah.
Are you living in high-end rentals, or are you living in medium rentals?
Yep.
Those costs are compulsory no matter what you do, but they are so variable that you can't put it into the same bucket.
That's right. You're going to suffer those costs whether you travel or not. So we have excluded those from our analysis. This is truly about and your lifestyle and financial situation, because everybody's is different. Will determine what those base costs are. We just wanted to look at the true costs of traveling. These are the costs that we suffer every day when we travel versus
What we
suffering
do
at
at
home. What is the real difference?
Yeah.
So I guess that starts making travel become a hell of a lot more economic.
Yeah.
And whether you do it in a caravan or a rooftop or a swag or out the back of a car, however you do it, this is a relativity of roughly what it's going to cost you to travel.
For sure.
Right? And so $1,300 extra is what you've got to come up with to travel like we do around Australia per month.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is untenable.
Not at all.
I mean, Crocky, you can get a job on the road and generate that
And
sort of
cover that
income.
cost.
3, 4, 5 days a week, working on the road, and then you're back into business again.
Yeah.
On top of whatever it's costing you normally.
Yeah.
So, that's a tough analysis, that last one. But either way,
This is what our holiday costs us.
yeah. So look, guys, I hope you get something out of this. Like I said at the start, I really wanted to cover off a couple of the points that were raised by some some comments that came in from the last video.
Yeah.
You know, well, you know, how do you compare that to the cost of staying at home and so forth? And I totally get it. That's why this video has been made. Look, I hope it's helped in some way, shape or form. It's tough putting yourselves out there because you're exposing yourself by putting this out there. I just hope that it helps someone.
Perspective.
To get the perspective. Exactly right. So look, guys, we'll cut it off there. We're going to keep traveling. We've still got more travels to do. And we're going to just ride out this heat here in Malair. And we will speak to you guys in due course. See yous.
Bye.